evening, everybody. Welcome to your Friday night therapy edition of Not Another Rangers podcast, where all the ourselves and all the viewers and all those that listen will come together and collectively feel disgruntled, disappointed, bemused, sad, angry, frustrated, and all sorts of adjectives that describe how it feels being a Rangers fan over the last couple of months. And last night was no different. So, on this painful journey with us tonight, we have Scott and Ricky. Ross may join us at some point during it. We'll see how it goes. Scott, you were unwell most of the week, I'm sure. Thursday night did not help you one little bit. Are you feeling better now?
Slightly, Gary, slightly. I've still got headaches and stuff, but the football's not really helped. To be honest with you, last night I was watching it and then I was getting that frustrated and annoyed. I kind of started to lose interest because it was making me feel worse, but I kept it on. But listen, it's brutal. There's nothing else I can really say apart from it's a brutal watch. And I was frustrated last night because I wasn't going, and I hate missing the game, especially when you know you've got a ticket. Do you know that way? But after about 10 minutes, I said to myself, I'm actually glad I'm not at the game because I'd have been shouting and bawling. It made me feel worse. So I was actually happy sitting in the house watching it.
Yeah, so just laughed at the fact I was sitting there during that. Cheers for
I
that.
just laughed.
And Ricky, you were working. Well, it's a time difference for you, so you were working this morning, so you didn't get a chance. You were in your bed early last night, fortunately for you. But given always the professional, you've watched the game fully this morning to make sure you could add some valuable comments.
Yeah, well, Rangers are making us ill, mate. That's how bad. That's how bad it's getting. And Russell Martin's even taken away our Thursday night. The nights was Rangers' nights, and now he's even sucked the life out of that. That guy would suck the life out of an orgy, mate. He's absolutely brutal as a. So no, mate. Yeah, no, I was working early this morning, so I watched it when I was at work this morning. And Jesus, it was so bad. But we'll get into it, mate.
So as this pod's supposed to do, we will talk about the game we've had. We'll talk about the game we're going to have, and try and reflect on that. It's hard to make it fun. It's hard to make it enjoyable, given where we're at this moment. But we'll try and be as balanced as we can, and at least pick up some of the kind of key incidents. We could spend an hour bashing Russell Martin, but I think every pod, every fan, every discussion you've had probably does that. So you don't want to spend the whole time doing that. And to be honest, in some ways, it's pretty redundant because it's not going to make change anything. It's not going to solve anything. It's not going to make any difference. So there will be lots of opportunities in the comments if you're there to give your views on Russell Martin and his backroom team and the performance last night. And we'll try and go over some of the, I suppose, the key incidents, some of the players, some of the decisions made, the tactical nuances or lack of nuances, and so forth over the next hour. And then we look forward to a game against Livingston. If look forward is the right word to use there. So it's hard to know where to start because a lot of these pods are dominated, Ricky, by just talking about Russell Martin after every game, and it doesn't really add a lot because we just seem to go around the same circle saying he shouldn't be there. I think every fan knows that his time is coming to an end. It's just a matter of when, not if. And everybody getting angry and raging is probably not helping it, or not actually making it any better.
Yeah, no, Gary, what I will say is, though, he's not giving himself the best chance. I mean, this nonsense, this Mickey Moore, I think it's about time some of the players got it as well, mate, because Moore starting these games. I mean, I was speaking to a lot of people on X before the match, and I think everyone after the Hibs match, nobody was getting carried away. We were happy we got the 2-0 victory, and we were happy in the second half that we created some chances. So we were classing that as a bit of progression, and we were hoping to take it into tonight. Every single person I saw was like, look, keep the same team, one change, get Ant-Man on the right, and take Moore out of the team. So why he started the striker Shermity, I mean, just this because we paid $8 million for him. Forget about what we paid for him. Miovski, the hat-trick on Saturday, for God's sake, man. He had one cleared off the line. He had one that was offside. You've got a striker who's absolute red hot. So not only is Martin an absolute cabbage, the decisions he's making is not giving him the best opportunity. And it's about time we speak about Asgard as well, mate, because Jesus, I mean, he's running in treacle. I've never seen a guy so slow on the ball. He's not what we were expecting in that midfield. So the biggest annoyance for me, though, mate, is the way that we're defending. We're so easy. Any team that watches us with a decent coach, we're so easy to play against. I mean, the idea of a high line is that you press with energy and pace because you squeeze the match up and you've got runners, your strikers are working hard to get the ball back, and you win the ball back up the pitch. Right now, we've got 4 defenders. None of them are in a straight line. Just go back to basics. Tell the defence to stand in a straight fucking line, or at least as close to a straight line as possible. Every time with Rangers, the fullbacks, the ball in between the fullback and the centre-back is so obvious. I see the fullbacks are getting it tight, but the whole defence, I mean, Suter is on the right wing. Like the right back is where the left back should be. It's a complete mess across the. So just forget about Martin being a shit manager that he is. Just go back to basics for a while, Gary, and try and get the team settled before you've got the fucking left centre back, right wing, the left back is up here, and the right back is. It's absolutely mental. Simplify the chessboard. Get us playing, get a few wins on the board. Well, listen, we all want them out. We're not. You're right what you're saying. There's no point in just going on about how bad Martin is a manager. We know how bad he is. He's here just now. We all want him out. Hopefully he'll be out soon. But just for me, give yourself a chance. He needs to simplify things, Gary, because just now the team is all over the place.
Yeah. So I'm regularly told by you two that I'm the most positive person on the pod, and you know, so when I generally feel I'm optimistic and like to see the positive in things. And until probably a couple of weeks ago, I'd always said that, do you know what, there's maybe a chance it could all go right. But I think when me myself thinks that, do you know what, it's just a matter of the inevitable happening. There's no signs really of it changing. And even if the Americans do want to back him, and they made it quite clear at the moment they have, the fans have already decided it's not going to happen. At some point in time over the next couple of weeks, couple of months, it's going to be gone. So depressing as it is, we will have to start again. That's where we're at just now. In terms of game, Scott, before we actually pick into the details again, there's 13,000 fans not there. So 13,000 fans, say, average of 30 quid a ticket. So that's £400,000 loss. You include the money from not winning, our couple $100,000, hospitality, merchandise, the price it costs for pies is probably that takes that best part, of course, to £1 million lost in one game. I think, you know, money talks as much as anything else, and the biggest driver for change will probably be the money that's been lost over the last couple of games alone, and which will get worse.
It will be worse, Gary. I mean, it was quite. Even on TV, you've seen it. Obviously, let's say I wasn't there, but on TV, you've seen quite a lot of spaces and. People don't like not going. People want to go, but listen, see if you don't want to go because of certain things happening at your club you don't agree with, that's your choice. And it is a quicker way to get somebody to go out the door rather than shouting, singing, and abusing them and stuff like that, because money does talk in football. It actually 100% does. And I think it'll get worse, Gary, before it gets better. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. I think the new ownership are stubborn. I think Patrick Stewart's just a cretin. I think Thelwell and Purdy, two of them haven't really got a clue, but they're doing. They're buying players that they've bought before or they think are going to perform in Scotland. But Martin's stubborn as well, and he's quite arrogant, and I think they know they're going nowhere. End of the day, I don't expect him to walk away, because nobody walks away for a contract that big. Nobody might mind. If you want to get a deal, you need to pay him off, and that's fine because Rangers gave him the contract. But by the time he does go, the season's over in my opinion at the moment. By the time it does go, it's well and truly over, because they've not got a chance to salvage anything. But the fans will be fans. Next game will be less empty, and it will fall and fall. And that's the only way it works. It's the only way you can get them out the door. There's no point. Fans will always go. You've every right to pick and choose if you want to go. If you don't want to go, that's entirely your choice at the end of the day, no matter what anybody says to you. But the best way probably is to get a deal quicker is not going, because empty seats tell a story, and not getting revenue in tells a story. But it's not even just last night, Gary. It's since he's come in, nothing's been great. And he knows himself nothing's been great, but he harps on to they look good in training, they look good. TA's confident this week in training, looking really, they're a wee bit more aggressive. They had a good week last week because they went a wee visit to Holland, but nothing's clicking on the park. And at the end of the day, he said as well, I mean, I watched the pre-match last night. I don't usually watch him because it annoys me, but I watched what he said. Performance sometimes about performance, about results, but results would get you sacked. Doesn't matter how good or how bad you played, results get you sacked. You can be poor all season, but if you keep winning games, it's going to get you praise. So any day it's about getting 3 points or a victory in the cup or whatever, and that's not happening at the moment. And that's 4 games out of 14 or something. We can blame the players because the players have the players are playing a big part of this. But I've said it to you too for a while, and I'll keep saying it. The players look lost under him. I don't think some of the players are as bad as what they look, but I also think some of the players have chucked it and don't listen to him. I do watch it last night. We didn't have any fight, and that's what's lacking. We didn't have any fight. And everybody's got different opinions, midfield, defence, and strikers. But as a full unit, there's no fight there. As a full unit, there's nothing. Apart from Jack Butland, there's not a lot you can praise anybody about. Look at all individuals. There's certain things you can say. He done well last game, he looked good. But overall, the piece, there's not been anybody that's actually stood up and been counted apart from maybe Jack Butland.
Yeah, there's that argument. There's no lying team, that's that saying in it, and certainly it's a team of individuals most of the time when you watch them on the park. Ricky, do you know one of the things when I was going into the game last night, there's 37,000 fans there, which was probably more than I thought it was going to be, but there was no excitement going on, there was no adrenaline, there was no buzz from the crowd. It was literally just 37,000 people, 36,000 people, and 1,000 Genk fans turning up just because they're meant to, or because they bought tickets, or because they go with the family, or whatever the circumstances. It wasn't like a Thursday night Europa League night, and that probably came across on the TV as well.
Yeah, no, it did, mate. And it's like one of the things that I used to get excited about when I'm at work and I don't have to watch back these games in the morning is the crowd. You used to love it. I used to watch it on BN Sports, so you could really hear the atmosphere absolutely pumping through the TV. But last night, I mean, everyone commented on it. Emma Dodge commented on it. McCoy's commented on it. The two co-coms were Hutton and Arfield commentated on it as well, mate. And just Martin has just absolutely sucked the life out of Rangers, man. I mean, these Americans have came in, Gary. There was a massive buzz when they took over the club. They've absolutely underestimated Rangers. Patrick Stewart is an absolute disaster. For me, there's no way he can survive this. There's no way Kevin Felwell can survive this. Dan Purdy as well, mate. If you go through the team, where have it actually improved? And I'm getting grief from Scott Carney about Dessers in the comments, mate. But listen, can you tell me that we could have any striker up front? It does not matter what striker up front. We create absolutely nothing. Like, now, we were debating this today in the chat. Gassama is a good winger, right? I like Gassama. He's exciting, but he's not really a chance creator. He's, like you said, he's more of a winger. He'll shoot or he'll play it back to the edge of the box, but he gets in positions. It's something he needs to work on. He never finds the striker or any player that's in the box. And then when you're playing Mikey Moore on the right wing, Mikey Moore's not like barely created a chance. Like, he had that assist, which was more of a squaffed shot at the weekend for Raskin. But apart from that, Gary, man, he is an absolute... I saw a journalist saying today that maybe Spurs are going to have to contact Rangers and like say to them, look, take him out of this because he is absolutely like lost out on that park. Like, even all the players that have came up from before, he just looks completely out of his depth, and it can't be doing him any good with people growling at him, and it's only going to get worse. Russell Martin's going to get a shock on Sunday because he's probably thinking to himself, yes, we're playing away from home, it'll be, and then he's going to run out on Sunday. David Martindale's got a Rangers scarf on, and then all the support will be complete 95% Rangers. There'll be about 10 Livingston fans in the corner. He's going to be like, what the hell, is this a bad dream? And this will be an absolute nightmare for him. But no, mate, it's I'm struggling to see where we've improved. And the most frustrating thing was his interview. You'll probably get to it on Sky today. He's saying that, oh, we've never owned a sports franchise, so we don't know what we're talking about, us supporters. We're just dummies, you know. We've just supported Rangers for 30 years, 130 years in cares for care. But for us, like, the way that he's like disrespecting the fans, man, you know, like, oh yeah, they spoke to us around the table, and would they understand that when you take over a sports franchise, that Rangers, we're a sports franchise now, that it takes time and you just need to ride through the storms. What does anyone see? Nobody sees anything. We can't defend. Butland is keeping us in matches. Our midfield is weak as piss. We've got big boys in midfield. We've got a Belgium international, a Norwegian international, and a guy that's playing for Ivory Coast. and we're getting absolutely bullied in midfield, and we create absolutely nothing. You're bored. You're going to the match. It's not like we're creating chances and missing chances. It is so bad, Gary. And the only way to change it is to get life back into Rangers. Nobody wants to be in this position, by the way. We're as devastated as that. We cannot believe we're going to have to get a new manager again, but that's the only way to give us our football club back and to get life back into Rangers, is to get a new manager, and they need to do it. We can still salvage the season, by the way, but the more that the Americans let it go on and go on and go on, I mean, are they really going to trust Russell Martin to go against Hibs, Celtic, and then Roma after the international break? That'll be an absolute bloodbath, mate. So we have to make a change soon. And I see that guy that we were linked with. It's the Porto manager that would nearly won the league with Ajax. Is all the people that we were nearly getting as manager are absolutely flying. It's terrible, mate. It's so depressing.
So yeah, no. In terms of the team lineup, then, so you mentioned Mikey Moore. Mikey Moore was obviously a surprise. He's played, is that his fourth start, and the previous three he probably struggled to get into the game, Scott. And then the other big change was Chermiti. Now, I disagree with you. Both actually probably thought it was a sensible thing to play Chermiti, and I'm going to give him, in my view, at the game, he worked hard. He actually was decent. I think Miovski didn't have a good game. Hasn't played particularly great, but he scored a goal, which is always what strikers there to do. But I thought it made sense to give Chermiti a game. He does need to play, and that game is probably a sensible one for him. I thought he was decent over the course of the game, worked hard. I've had players run about him, was actually running and pressing as well. But it wasn't the reason we didn't win. It also wasn't the reason we didn't play well. Scott?
Sorry, I'm trying to get off mute there. No, I can understand about Chermiti playing. They paid money for him, so they probably think he's a big game player. So this is the kind of stage they bought him for. But it's not his fault. He cost that amount. That's just what the club's agreed. And I didn't think he was bad. I thought he was trying. He was trying to get into space. He was moving. There wasn't a lot of support for him. I just felt it was out of the blue, Gary. I think he should maybe put a couple of games up to this. At least maybe against lesser opposition. And I'm not disrespecting anybody else in the league because we've not won many games, but before he get flung into a European game, I just felt I was very quick to throw the boy in, considering what was at stake. But Mikey Moore, that's our own fault, Mikey Moore. No, it's nothing against Mikey Moore. I think he's got a lot of potential. I think he will become a very good player. But he's still young and learning the game. And to guarantee him game time just because you paid money for him, a club in England who have told you needs to play a certain amount of minutes, a certain amount of game time. And you're basically stuck between a rock and a hard place because you either have to do it or there could be a penalty clause in it. You just don't know what's involved in this deal. So it's not all on Mikey Moore. It's basically more on us for taking that deal, especially when we just bought Ant-Man. Well, I think Ant-Man came in after him, didn't he? But especially when we were buying Ant-Man, we had Curtis here. The Mikey Moore thing wasn't a deal we really needed to make, to be honest with you. I think that was just, I don't know if that was kind of Trish trying to get a rapport with Spurs and make it kind of a big thing because he's potentially a player Finland who's worth a lot of money and he's coming to Scotland, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think he fits into the way we're playing. I think he looks lost. Him and Tav just don't seem to gel. I think they're very close together at times and then one goes, one doesn't. But I don't think he's a wide player anyway. I think he's probably more inside player or maybe more as a 10. But he's still learning the game, the young boy. He's not put a lot of football down the road. It was all academy games. I know he played a few games with the Spurs first team, but not a lot. And Scottish football is very difficult to take for anybody coming in. It doesn't matter what level you're playing at. It's very hard to take because a lot of people don't realise how difficult it is until they start playing in the league up here. And it can take a while to adjust. So for an 18-year-old kid from another league who's not got a lot of experience under his belt, and when he starts playing bad and then he starts hearing things shouting from the stadium and the players he's playing next to, their confidence is at the bottom, it's going to be a struggle for the kid. So sometimes I think it's well pull him out the fire line now and just say we'll put you back in once we maybe start playing a bit better. Also, you've got Ant-Man there, who, to be fair, I thought when he came on, he tried. I thought when he came on, you can see a wee burst of pace. He was a wee bit more direct. I just think for something like that, we should be getting more involved in. But I'm a big Finlay Curtis fan, as you both know. I think Finlay Curtis is probably the best finisher at the club, and I still think that, even though we've signed Miovski. And he never let us down, Finlay. When he had chances, he took them and he scored. Do you know that way? So I think they're kind of stunting his growth as well. So we're doing everything kind of backwards. But I don't think the team was a bad team to pick, Gary. I think if you looked at the start, maybe Moore and Jimmy, I think apart from the rest of you probably that's the ones you would pick. Obviously, Aarons was suspended.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot we'd have probably picked differently. But it's how they're playing, how they're functioning. It's not about the guy, it's not about what he's picking, it's just about everything else. The setup, the way they're playing football, the system or non-system. It's everything else. It's not about the names in the park, it's how they're playing in the park.
Yeah. No, I'm going to come on to that now. So I'm going to answer a quick point from Les. I spent 5 minutes at the start saying that Martin has to go, so I'm not his mate, so I don't think you need to worry about that. So he's definitely, he has to go. But Ricky, the setup, so obviously I'm sitting in the back of the room, and the one good thing is when I'm not invested in the game at all, not particularly interested, is I can try and look at it objectively and look at the tactics, look at the shape, look at things that you don't really do when the emotions are all involved that go with it. And I don't know how easy it was to see on the TV, but tactically it was really strange. So basically we started what looked like a 4-2-3-1 when nobody had the ball to kick off. But as soon as we had the ball, Tav pushed way up on the right-hand side, effectively being a winger, the same as Gassam on the other side. And Goma pushed in a wee, it became a back three. And then basically what happened is it happened numerous times throughout the game, is there was so much space. And I think go back to Scott's point, Mikey Moore isn't a winger, so potentially that's why Tav's playing so high up. But it was effectively, I think I said last night, it was a 3-2-5-1 or something like that was when Rangers had the ball. It just looked bizarre and left so much gaps at either side that they tried to exploit.
Yeah, Tav, that's not Tav's game anymore. He's not got the legs to get on the other side of Moore and be whipping the balls into the box. And like, it's so frustrating. Like Kerr says, like I saw people going on in other pods going on about even Ant-Man when he came on, where he's getting the ball and he keeps coming inside. He never used to do that when he was playing in Holland. So why he's doing it when he's playing now for Rangers? He's like, if you look at his the way that he used to play in Holland, Ant-Man was a direct right winger that had the ball in the right wing and was his biggest strength is finding players in the box. And you've seen glimpses of that at Rangers already. So the way that Martin is setting us up, it's honestly, it's like sabotage, Gary. None of it makes absolutely sense. And we're playing this high defensive line. I mean, in the 4th minute, it took 4 minutes. Their goalkeeper just chipped the ball into a simple ball into midfield. The midfielder had 10 yards of space and he just played it right through to O, and that was his first chance where he was clean through on goal. And Jesus Christ, mate, we made O look like Wayne Rooney last night, and it was he actually played a bit like Dessers, you know. He had like 7 chances, but like kept fluffing his lines until he actually scored the winner, mate. But it was so nothing makes sense. Just as I said, just go back to basics. Keep like when we won the league and we never conceded any goals. Just keep the defence solid with like 2 midfielders protecting the defence. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have half your team defends and half your team attacks. But with Martin, Jesus Christ, man, it's like he's put numbers in a tombola and just spun it and says, right, you're playing here, you're playing there, you're playing there. And I think that's part of the reason the players since day one. I mean, I remember when we lined up against Panathinaikos, Gary, and Max Aarons was was left back, but he was he was where Raskin should be. And it's just this modern pish where they overcomplicate the team. And like someone said, like he's trying to play the way Pep Guardiola played 10 years ago with just like absolute inferior players. And it's just his confusion. I mean, John Souttar, he must go home after every match for Rangers and just put a cold towel around his head and just try and let some of the butterflies escape his brain, mate, because he has been asked to do jobs and he's not got a clue what's going on. Like, he's a guy for Brecon who just wants to defend, like, you know, just defend. And Martin's telling him, right, you need to, in the 7th minute, you need to be doing 2 kicky-ups and play it to this guy and do it to that. And Souttar's just like, and it's like that for many of the players, mate. Just simplify it. Try and simplify it. Realise, I mean, honestly, mate, can you imagine these players when they turn up to that carpet, if he picks the English players that have been used to playing in the Championship and they turn up to Livy and the ball's getting pinged about and they're playing and there's like black pellets pinging up at them and everything, and they're thinking, what the hell is this? What is going on? So Sunday for me, he's got to pick the right team and the right players and understand This is another problem with his coaching staff. I don't think his coaches, the main guy he's got, I think he looks quite decent on the training ground when he's doing the training drill. But this other guy, he should have more help as well. That he's such an egomaniac. He's trying to do everything himself, and he should have more coaches helping him on the training ground as well, like telling him, this is Livingston got a new pitch this year. This is what you're going to be facing. This is what Martindale does. But he's trying to do everything himself, and it's just an absolute mess, Gary.
I want to pick up stick with that, Scott. So, as I say, yes, it was bizarre watching it because you've got, as I say, Tav playing as a winger, 34-year-old player. You know, he wasn't even being asked to go back because it's physically impossible whether you're a 24-year-old, 34-year-old to go back to that. So, there's a straightforward 4-3-3 in there, and I think Shona's point here, she talks about the centre back's position. I'll probably defend them because I actually think it's sometimes more often than not their fault because no defender's going to be able to do much if a guy's got a free pass. In the midfield and attack aren't pressing as a unit. They're not actually able to stop those balls being played into the channels. So I think the defence are getting a lot of criticism for being exposed with high line. High line's fine if you're pressing properly, if you're managing, if you're stopping people from playing out so easily. And to me, the midfield and the strikers aren't doing that. And certainly their goal typifies that. They're hemmed in, then one ball in the middle of the park and they're clean through.
I think any team playing the high line, Gary, it's a risk. Doesn't matter who you are, because one ball can split it. But when you're playing up, when you're playing like us, the high press or the high line we're playing isn't feasible. Because you look at our defence, there's not really any pace here at all.
Do you think that's true though? I hear that all the time. Do you think actually it's not about? I often don't think it's about pace.
I don't think there's any pace. I think I agree with what Shona said. I think the positional sense is wrong. I think you seen one of your goals. Tav was I think Tav was up next to you. Suter's stuck in the middle of the park and we're all over the place, and it's why doesn't it just get back to basics? And a lot of times the balls don't even go through our midfield because sometimes it can be a long ball. So bypass our midfield. Because we've got a lot of players in the middle of the park, but there's a lot of players in the middle of the park not doing a lot. Because we don't press as a unit. They press, one might press, and then the other ones are kind of like what they're doing. It's like there's no cohesion. They don't know what each other's doing in the park. They don't know what each other are in the park. And that all comes back to what they're getting taught, and that's why I said they look lost. I mean, I don't think any three midfielders played really well last night. I thought Raskin was poor. I thought Asgard, that's probably the worst I've seen him. And I thought Deal was poor, and then he gets sent off, which was a really, really poor challenge. So I thought none of the three of them really done anything they should have been doing or been asked to do. I thought the big boy up front was okay. He was trying, but he had a lack of service. Gasama is okay, but we all know sometimes he flatters to deceive, but that's what a lot of wingers do. Mikey Moore was poor. I thought Tav was poor. He was trying to play up. He was trying to get up, but that we all know his legs aren't the same. He can't do that. Suter was playing trying to play the same balls. It doesn't work. Cornelius is trying to find a system he doesn't really know how to play in. And I thought Mahoma was quite poor as well. I just thought overall we were poor. But the high line doesn't suit us because we're not good enough to play it.
Aye. But Scott, is that because our midfield and attack aren't functioning properly that the high line doesn't suit, or because it's...
But he's changed the midfielders. You see people slacking different players in the midfield. So he has changed it a few times and it's still the same. So
he says
it doesn't
that,
matter.
Gary, though. He says that in his interview. He says that the problem is he doesn't think the high line is the problem with the defence. He thinks that, and he's right in a way, that the problem is we keep giving the ball away. We can't keep the ball. Our ball retention is absolutely terrible. Every single goal or every single chance we concede is a shitty pass because everyone is static. There's no movement. All this stuff about we're going to run harder, we're going to press harder, we're going to move harder, we're going to be harder. All of it is we're like Kerr said. People have the ball in midfield and everyone's hiding. They're hiding behind defenders. There's no movement. Now, we're thinking that's because that's what Martin wants and that's the way he's coaching, that you have to stand in this position and the ball will come to you. And if that's the case, then everything is wrong. Every single thing is wrong. And to be fair, Martin is not telling them to do this, but these players are not good enough to do what Martin is telling them to do. So something has to give. You have to adapt. He kept doing it in the Premier League with Southampton with players that were not good enough to do it. and they were getting absolutely pumped to the point the fans were going. The fans basically got them out, and that's what's going to happen at Rangers.
I don't really agree with that, Ricky. I don't think it's the player. I think it's down to the system he wants to play.
Yeah,
unless he's got world-class players, it's even with world-class players that may not work. Because Martin wants you to hold on to the ball to the very, very last second and draw them in and then pass it.
Yeah.
So if you pass it and give it away, surely it doesn't matter how high or how low you are, you're going to get hit with that pass because
that's what we keep doing.
He wants everybody to go that way, and then as soon as you win one ball through, everybody's facing that way and the ball's coming this way. It doesn't work. Somebody made a comment saying we're probably better as a counter-attacking team, and that's a good point. We soak pressure in and we hit in the break. A lot of teams do that, and it's maybe say that's boring sitting in the break and then hit, but it gets you results. We're not getting results, Gary. When we can't keep a clean sheet, we probably conceded the most chances against us ever in the Rangers Football Club this season.
We have.
And we're not creating any chances, and you can't keep saying it's midfielders, it's the defenders, it's the strikers. It comes down to the way they've been told to play, and I think you can see the players are getting frustrated, and maybe that's why a few have spoken in the dressing room, and there's no cohesion there for me. There's no rapport in the middle of the dressing room. There's no cohesion between players. I think there's cliques. I think there's all different things in that dressing room, and it's not working. And you can't sack players. You can only sack the manager at this moment in time, and that's what they have to do.
Yeah. The one thing I would say about the counter, I get the counter-attack principle and what you're saying, that's what we had with Clement, and people didn't like that because it was very much transition-based and get the ball forward very quickly. That didn't work particularly well as well. But
you can mix it up, Gary. We don't mix it up.
That's what I was about to say. One thing I did notice, and I was thinking about it last night as I was watching the game, is not once did I see they play the ball over the top to MD. So if you're a Genk defender, you're standing there knowing the guy's playing in front of you is going to be there. So there's nobody spinning behind. There's no runs being made behind, and even Genk can play a 4-2-3-1 as well. That was their game. Get the ball over the top quickly. We don't do that at all. So if you don't mix it up, no tactics are going to work. Somebody even if you watch Man United City the weekend there, or any weekend, they play the ball over the top doing again. So people talk about Pep style and that stuff. They mix it when they have to.
Man City and Arsenal done it all game on Sunday.
I know it was a mad game that. Yeah, no, but any team needs to adjust, Gary. But that's the way football should be nowadays, man. You've got to see how the match is going and then work out what you should be able to adapt to ball and change it. And Martin could probably come on our podcast and he'll tell you he changes it 7 times a game and he tries this and he tries that, but we're just not seeing it. We're not getting any results. We're not in the last 2 years, Gary. Right? That what would have happened is we would have turned up to Ibrox last night. The fans would have been up for it. There would have been a good atmosphere, and we'd have beaten them 3-0. We beat USG last year easily at Ibrox, and that's what should have happened last night. But even for the first 40 minutes, when Diamande was still in the park, we had one chance with Suter that was cleared off the line. That was a good. We don't create. It's boring to watch. Fans are bored. Fans don't just want us to have possession. We think we've got exciting players. I mean, you watch Asgard for Norway. The guy's never out of the box. He's never out of the box. You watch him for us. He's at a point now after so many games, he doesn't even make runs into the box because he knows the ball's not going to come in. Mikey Moore's not capable of getting the ball into the box from the right. And Gassama's got like 2 tricks. He either shoots at goal or plays it back to the edge of the box. So the strikers, it says, like people are going on about Dessers. If Dessers was this, if Dessers was that. What's our XG is 0.79 and 0.8 and it's so bad for every single match. So what can you say, mate? You can go on about strikers if we had this player, if we had that player, if we did this, if we did that. But the whole team is a complete mess. And we need to start again. He needs to rip it up and start again because believe me, Livingston's not going to be an easy game on Sunday, mate. It's going to be tough. And then we're away from home in Europe. And if we play the same at Strum Grass, we could be looking at a draw on Sunday and then a defeat in the Europa League next Thursday night, which is just unacceptable.
Listen, we can have Haaland up front and we struggle to score. That's how bad we are.
I think that's it. Do you know, when you're watching a game, we talk about high line. So we had yesterday numerous times we had 8 guys at the edge of the box, 1 guy in the box, and then the ball played to the top. For some reason, we've got a whole 3 players at either side, outside the box, 2 in the middle of the park, outside the box, and nobody actually in there for. So I think the Habs game, particularly, at times I looked and it was Miofsky in there himself, and there was no point crossing the box. There's 1 guy against 4 defenders, and I think how can you be so attacking and so exposed at the back, but actually have nobody forward to create anything. It's bizarre. It's a slightly strange way of playing.
But that's not coming for the players, Gary. That's obviously what they're told.
I agree with you 100%, and that's what I suppose. If you look at that team last night, so maybe take out Moore. There's a straightforward 4-3-3, isn't there? There's a very simple with Diamande, Raskin, and Asgard sitting there. Same way we played for many, many years with Jack and Davis and Kamara, or whoever it may be. You know, there's a simple formation there, but it seems to be much more complex. Let's say Fling and Tav wide left. You've got Gassama on one side. Magoma doesn't really overlap on the other side. Moore's coming in. Asgard's going deep at points. It was just far too complex, but actually not getting anywhere with it, which was painful to watch. But
surely, right, with defence, right? I mean, I'm not pretending to be tactical genius here, but I mean, surely just keep it simple with your 4 defenders. If one fullback goes up, ask one of your centre midfielders drops into defence, so you've got 4, a line of 4 defenders, so you've actually got your. But we've got massive spaces. You could drive a double-decker bus, man. You could drive Bonnie Blue's bus right through our defence. It's incredible the spaces that we'll leave and how easy it is for teams to create chances against us. And we never seem to learn, Gary. It seems to be every single match. For the goal, as I said, Suter's right wing just running about like a kid chasing a bone.
When you talk about that, Ricky, when Tav and Barisic were at their peak and they would go forward on the side, what would happen? Jack and Kamara would drift to the sides to create the space. We don't have that space now, so there's tactically. We don't know how good the players are. Right? We don't know how good or bad or indifferent players are, but you do know tactically it's a shambles. You know, it doesn't seem to ever work properly, and we could go on for hours on that. But I do want to kind of cover some of the key points in the game. I suppose, other than the VAR stuff and some of the main instances, there's probably not a lot to talk about. They'd broke a good few times. I think a few of them were offside. Russell Martin said in his press conference last night, but suited one cleared off the line. And goals do change games, but we weren't playing well. The big thing, Scott, was supposed Tav. I'm sitting in the Broomloan rear, and I said to you in the chat last night, we're talking. It looked to me straightforward foul. It looked like shoved him. So when the handball thing up, VAR within about 10 seconds got the referee to look at it. But usually means they're adamant it's a penalty. He goes over, spends a couple of minutes over there, and then comes back and gives a push. Now I've watched it back on the TV, and weirdly enough, it doesn't look like much a push. But when you're watching it at the game, it was pretty blatant. Similarly, me and you were at the Celtic game a couple of weeks ago when Liam Scales put 2 hands in the back of Miofsky, but when you watch that on the TV, it didn't look like much either. So it's sometimes hard to judge. Certainly, your view was that it should have been a penalty.
I thought it was very soft, Gary, but also thought it was a penalty. I don't like the handball at all. I think if you're jumping, the boy was jumping and he was facing the other way and the ball hits the back of his arm, and to me that's not a handball because he doesn't know where the ball is, but that's the rules of football. But I thought the ref or VAR or whoever's controlling it, I thought they maybe looked for something it maybe wasn't there. And I can see Tav raising his arms, touching him slightly, but it's like the old thing. I think you do that push outside the box, and the referee's like, get up, not ring me, but you do that inside the box, suddenly it's a free kick. So I think it was a penalty, but I think it was a soft penalty. But that's just the way football's going into it. Sometimes you get a hang, sometimes you don't, but because we haven't been playing well, we've not got any luck either. But I think it was a very, very soft push. But like I say, I don't agree with the handball rule. So it was a penalty in the law just now, but I think that's harsh as well.
And as I say, watching it at the game live, it looked a much more severe push than it showed you on the TV later on in the day. Ricky, you obviously watched it back today with no emotion, clear, and it was a penalty in your view?
Oh, there was emotion. I was raging, mate. I was absolutely raging. I couldn't believe it. I saw it last night when I was checking the score halfway through the night for me, and I saw something about a push, and then I watched it back today, and I was like, and then I couldn't believe. Like the ref went to the monitor, and I'm like, how's he not give this as a penalty? What's going on here? And then when he said the push, I was like, oh, come on, man. You know, it was like he because he missed it, he just decided that it was a. We've had a few really bad VAR decisions over the last couple of years in Europe, man. Some of these decisions have been absolutely wild. And for me, I mean, I thought the red card was a clear red card, and I thought the penalty for Tav was a clear penalty. He clipped the boy's legs, so I thought he got them right. But I thought the decision for us was absolutely terrible, mate. And to be fair, us. I'm not going to say Russell Martin because he doesn't deserve any luck, but when you are against it, it's crazy the decisions that go against you. I mean, the 3 against Hearts, and then that one last night was just. And I don't understand why people like always say, and it's mate, I'm not having a go at Kerr because I've heard that all. That's all I've heard for the last 24 hours is people saying, "Oh, I don't like the rule. I don't like the rule." But the rule's the rule, you know. I mean, it's all right saying you don't like it, but that is the rule. If the ball is going towards goal, even if it hits his hand, right? If it's not going towards goal, it's not a penalty. But if it's on target and it's going, and it clearly hits his hand, then it's a clear penalty. If he doesn't give it for the push, so for me, 100%, it was a penalty. And it was little things like that changed the match, mate. But for us, it was a hard one to take when I watched it this morning.
What I will say, Ricky, is that's fine. You're saying that, and if that's the rule, that's fine. But it's not across the board because we can see ball hitting people's arms, and they don't give a penalty. And then other times you can see ball hitting people's arms, and they think
It is, isn't it?
it's a penalty. So it's how they define it and how they look at it. But across the board, it doesn't work out the same because everybody's opinion is different. That's why I don't like it, and it's probably an age thing as well. Probably because when I watched football before, probably the rest, most of you watching this, it wasn't a thing. It was a handball. You deliberately hit your hand, but you pushed your hand towards the ball. Nowadays, I mean, you see where people are jumping, they're jumping with their hands behind their back. If you fall awkwardly, you've got a broken arm, you can not get a hand down to protect yourself. So I just think football is getting soft and the rules are getting softer.
It should be deliberate. I mean, they should use the word deliberate if you're going that deep about the rule and that like that.
There's an issue with that one though, that it was heading towards goal, so that's why it's a penalty on it.
Exactly, that's why it's a penalty.
I agree that, but the boy's facing another way, so he's not got a clue where the ball is. So obviously take that into consideration. No, you would think they're trying to change everything.
Anyway, we could go on with the penalty. I mean, it wasn't given, and that's one of those strange things, as you say, Ricky. Goals change games and things.
100%
when you're down, things keep kicking you a little bit further. Not to say we were good, but I mean, deserving. But they do have an impact. You get the goal. Maybe there's a bit of a crowd atmosphere, and the game changes. 100%. But Dio, 10 minutes later or so, Dio Mandy, who is reckless to say the least, at the best of times, Ricky dives in, and even then, I don't know how many yards away it is in the Broomlow Road here, but they're miles away, and you can still see straight away it's a red card. There's not even a debate on it.
Mate, he has had a horrendous start to the season, by the way. Like, as you go on about everything, and for the money we paid for him, 5 million, and the player again, there was a few people on X, I'm not going to name them because they've been getting absolutely brutalised over the last few months about Russell Martin, but they told us that this was a superstar in this academy. We need to link up with this academy. He's going to be this, he's going to be that. For me, mate, when we spend 4 or 5 million on a midfielder, Gary, he should be dominating matches. He should be 8 out of 10 most weeks. And then you get the odd performance where you can forgive him. Okay, he's a bit crap this week. He's a bit this, he's a bit that. But for me, I just don't see it with Diamande at all. I see other pods going on about he's a nothing player, and I totally agree he's a nothing player. He doesn't dominate, he doesn't score goals.
He's good at pirouetting, that's about it.
He pirouettes, mate, but come on, for the money we've paid for him and what we need, we're carrying so many passengers in that team. We've got shit tactics. We're carrying 2 or 3 players every match that are absolute passengers, and we just can't get away with it, mate. And for me, if Russell against Livingston, and it'll just be like, oh, what is going on here? But he should be taken out the team for a few weeks, the same way as Max Aarons was after Bruges, because it's no different. It's exactly the same thing. You've cost your team. I mean, okay, we were rubbish in the first half, but we could have got a reaction and get the team in at half time. And to be fair, under Martin, we've always been the better team in the second half. After we've not seen a 90 minutes really. It's always been like get them in at half time and then come out.
Ricky's disappeared, so he'll put some money in the meter and be back shortly. See, I was going to, we'll come back to the penalty in a minute, but didn't make it Butland then saves, but I've seen a question from Shona. One of the things that interested me at half time was, and Russell Martin's comments after, as he said, they brought Atman on for Moore. There was no point not still going for it, and I thought Barn would go on. I thought they'd go a bit more compact and try and shore up the game. Did you think that, and I know Martin talked about it, do you think that was a bit of a reckless decision?
At the time, I didn't know. I thought it was the right move at the time. Obviously, it wasn't, but I thought Ant-Man gave us more than Moore has, and I thought he could probably slotted Asgard further back, but obviously that didn't work out. But I can see where you're coming from, but I just didn't think bringing Barron on or even Rothwell on was a move that Martin would make, because I don't think he's that kind of manager anyway. That's how I thought he went, man. I don't think he's a type of manager who would say, right, we'll shut up shop and hit the break. Because if he was going to do it, Gary had done it in previous games, you know what I mean? He'd have done it against going over to Bruges, but he never, attack. That's how I said to you in the chat. If you remember, I said Martin went my way, because I thought he was going to go with Ant-Man and move off, because that's the way he is. He wants everything to be like forward thinking, even though it's not, but that's what he wants to portray it as. And it wasn't the best move as it turned out. But no, you shut up. You don't mean you shut up shop. You just tighten up middle of the park, don't you? And then you maybe hit in the transition. You don't want to just sit back. But it'd have been a better move bring on somebody just to help hit middle of the park. But he was never going to do that, because that's not what he is.
Which is maybe to expect the Bruges game and other games like that when he's went for things. Maybe when you should be a bit more sensible and conservative, which doesn't help us. So sorry, Ricky, you're back again.
But I'm like Asgard trying to play football, mate. I speak away for 5 minutes and don't even know I'm frozen, and then I'm like,
no, you weren't frozen till the end.
I was speaking away for 5 minutes, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm frozen again. And like Asgard trying to play a 1-2.
So we're getting. Obviously, there's a penalty before half time, which it wasn't really what. At the end of the day, he missed it. So and Butland saved it. Do you know what the only thing I would say on that?
It was a clear penalty as well.
Do you think at the game? I've not looked it back. I thought they were going to get another penalty when the guy ran out for the rebound and it went down. It looked like to me as though it was another foul, but I couldn't really see it properly.
You never know with these foreign refs. Like they're always a bit. And I quite like the foreign refs sometimes. I think but it's VAR, mate. I mean, I don't know what you two think. I mean, I don't know how many years we've had it now. 5, 6 years. I just think it ruins. When you get a match like last night, when it's involved so much, I think it just completely ruins the match. The time it takes for them to get the decisions. For you guys at the ground, it must be absolute hell, because the amount of time it takes for them to get the decisions, and there's nobody's got, even on TV, even the commentators. I mean, Tom commentators confused at the best of times, but when you've got a VAR decision going on, man, nobody, even the commentators, have never got a clue what's going on. They've no idea, and especially now, like the ref runs to the monitor, and normally in Scotland that means one thing: you're ever going to get a penalty. Normally 9 times out of 10 they'll stick with the decision that they get in their ear from the referee on VAR, but in Europe it's completely different, you know.
Yeah, and the rest of the second half, I mean, I'm conscious of time, but the rest of the second half, we huffed and puffed. They caught us in the break a few times. They get the goal. I think we've covered that earlier on, but it was literally we had the ball, them pinned down their own half and a ball in the middle of the park, a couple of passes in the way. And it'd be fair to Suter, and that if they're pressing up, well, it should be or not, it's a different story, but if they're pressing up, there's not much they can do to then get back and cover. But the game kind of peters out. You know, we Gassama has a chance, Asgard has a shot, Barron has one, there's a couple of other bits and pieces. They have a few breaks. It wasn't much of a second half, really. I think they maybe contained themselves and sat deeper, and we never really done enough to do it. The one thing I would say, actually, funnily enough, Rothwell, when he came on, Ricky, the last 2 games he's come on, he's actually looked like the player he was meant to be, driving forward with the ball with a bit of pace.
That's what I would like to see. I know we're going to get on to the Livingston game, mate. I would like to see him brought into the midfield with Raskin and Lyle Cameron. I would take Asgard out of the team just to give him a little bit, just to see Scottish football away from home. I'd like to try and get some energy into that midfield, because I think the midfield is super, super weak. And you would hope that Raskin would be able to speak to Rothwell and just like sit and be a bit more smart with the way that they're dovetailing, just to try and give the defence a bit of protection, mate, because that's 3 ball players there that are good on the ball, that are not going to give the ball away as much as, but it's going to be helter-skelter on Sunday. But I would like to try and get a bit of energy, try something different, get Moore out of that team, and that plastic pitch will be, and if I'm being honest, I would maybe change both wingers on Sunday. Just the reason I would is because I think Finlay Curtis is probably used to playing on these mad pitches in Scotland when he was playing for the B team, and he was playing, there's a few of them in there, you know. And who's Golden Bollocks?
Must be Raskin if Nicholas has seen it.
Oh, he's always ranting about Raskin. Of course Raskin's going to stay in there. No, but I'd like to see that, and I would like to see Ant-Man and Curtis given a chance. I know Gassama is our best winger on the left, but I think on that plastic pitch it's going to be hard for him you can't really carry the ball that fast. Where it's difficult to carry the ball because the pitch is so slow. And you know Davy Martindale will have it as dry as a bloody junkie's carpet. It's going to be absolutely savage. It's going to be absolutely savage on Sunday. So that's the sort of things I would be thinking. Just try and change it up. And we need to be rotating players now, Gary. Anyway, I know we're not good enough, but we need to be rotating players because we've got that many matches going on. You can't just keep churning out the same players and the same confidence is low. You've got to give other guys a chance in the squad as well. So that's what I would like to see.
Yeah. And Scott, you talked all the time about Rothwell, and I'm not picking up on him because he actually looks like a number 8. The 2 times he's come off the bench, he's ran with the ball. He's actually played, but rather than he's sitting as a number 6, just playing simple passes. He looks probably a bit closer to the player that you'd want. That and something that actually breaks lines, which Asgard's supposed to do as well. But he's playing so deep.
So what I've seen Gary playing down in England, he was always going forward with the ball. He's very positive. He was breaking the lines. He was running with the ball in short bursts. Every pass was a forward-thinking pass, and either creating a chance or moving the ball upfield. So that's why when he came in and started playing a 6, I was always saying he's not a 6 because I've never seen him play a position until I came to us. Listen, I didn't see every game in England. I only seen him it was on TV or if I was watching somebody else and he was playing. So I would bring him in if he's fit, but we just don't know who he'll play. I mean, I know Nicola says Raskin, but Raskin to me has to play. I would play Rothwell, and I would probably go with Barron myself just to start. I think you need something to be a bit aggressive, a wee bit combative, because Livingston will come and get us. Listen, Livingston's going to that game on Sunday with no fear because they're playing Rangers, and Rangers don't present themselves. They're no great shakes. Doesn't matter if it's Rangers or not, they're playing very poorly, and if they concede, the fans are going to turn and it can make the players panic and anxiety, whatever else is magic out way, and that's why you think they've got a chance of winning the game. So, but I would play Barron, Rothwell and Raskin. But listen, I think it does have to mix up, and we have to do something. Even the players just has to mix up how we set up. Has to make us more defensively minded, as in we're not going to concede. See, if you know you're not going to concede, then you've got a better chance winning. I know it's so cliche, but if you can keep a clean sheet, then that's halfway to success, isn't it? Because that's what a lot of my old school managers do. Because if you can keep a clean sheet, you're halfway to get 3 points. So, but we don't want that, Gary. We're conceding chances left, right, and centre. And Paul said there, do you play 2 strikers? I don't know. I mean, I would bring back Miofsky. I think like games and stuff like that, I think you have to. And yeah, we criticised Dessers and stuff. I know you mentioned Gary didn't think he played well against Hibs, but just like Dessers done, he got the goal, didn't he? And if he can find the back in the net, then that's what we have to do. And listen, the last strikers we've had, we kind of replaced, haven't we? Agama and Dessers. I know Daniel's still there, but I think he could be out the door in the next window. So listen, we have to go and try and get 3 points on Sunday. I think he has to mix up. I think he has to change away. He's focused in the game and way he wants to play. No patient play. I don't mean that, but no like 17 passes before you go forward. Try and get the balls quickly up the park as possible because Livingston don't expect it. We said earlier, Gary, a long ball, you might think, what is going on here? They're playing a long ball, so play them at their own game, but we have to be more aggressive and we have to be more combative. We have to fight. And that's what we're lacking all over the pitch is fight.
Yeah. Just to answer a point, Sean has mentioned Cameron a few times. Cameron is still injured, so he won't be fit maybe for a week or two. I don't think he's still out, as far as I understand. Just talk about Raskin because Nicholas in the comments and the likes of criticising most of the pod. I did read something. I don't know if you read this, Ricky. His granddad was out talking about how he was really disappointed he never got the move that he wanted in the summer. But he's now fully committed to Rangers. It was just a wee comment that was made, and it was quite interesting when I read it in the Daily Record yesterday.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a lot of stuff probably happens behind the scenes. You see it on the other side with Maeda. He's chased down tools for them now and chucked the toys at the pram. So lucky for us. Raskin, I mean, Raskin's always, I mean, when he came in day one, Gary, he said he wanted to move to the English Premier League and his dream was to play for Chelsea. I mean, that was as soon as he came through the door. So the only thing that we have to hope, and I mean, again, it doesn't look like this sort of thing is happening behind the scenes, is what's going on with his contract situation, because we were all happy to keep him, but there's no point in keeping any of these players if they're not playing in a winning Rangers team. You know?
It's starting to freeze again there, Ricky. Sorry, we will come back again.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, it's no, but want to see him playing in a winning Rangers team, mate. There's no point in him playing in a team that's getting beat every week and is absolutely rubbish. He's got the talent, he's got the skill, he's got a World Cup coming up at the end of the year. So hopefully hopefully he can get his head down and we see the form that we see at the weekend rather than the form we saw against Genk. I mean, he's played a few Belgium teams now and he's been terrible. He was terrible against Bruges. And then that's him played against Genk and he was pretty poor as well. So you think these matches he would be, because normally when he stands out, he's massive. He's like a big presence in the centre of midfield. I still think we're soft, Gary. I think we're soft as shit. It's another thing with our team. I know you love Tab and everything, but I don't think as a captain he's strong enough for the referees. I think the referee's always pulling him over and he's speaking.
It's actually been more this season. Weirdly enough, last couple of games
he's speaking to them, but he's no. I know, and people say it's better that he's calm with the ref because if he's shouting. But sometimes you've got to let the ref know that he's making the wrong decision. You know, you can't just agree with every decision the ref makes. So for me, that's another problem with our team. We're too nice, you know. We're so disjointed and we're way too nice. As everything about the club is too nice just now, and it's not the way that we needed. I think Ferguson said that we needed a bit more oomph and a bit more, that nastiness in the team. We just don't have it.
Believe the Daily Record. I believe his granddad was Stephen. Where the comments came from. There was not the Daily Record. It was granddad's comments in a Belgian newspaper. In terms of Scotland, I suppose we've got first of 3 away games. Before actually picking the Livingston game a wee bit more, first of 3 away games we've got Falkirk, Livingston, then Graz, then Falkirk. Do you think that, irrespective of kind of what happens in those games, Russell Martin's time will maybe be up there and they're maybe holding on to that point in time? You know what I mean? I think you're not. Can't hear what you're saying.
No, I think the ones are going to keep him. I think if we're going to sack him, it would have happened before now. I think if at that point we are thinking we're going to prove the fans wrong. That's just my opinion, by the way. Or he's actually told them that many lies are starting to believe him as well. Because why have they not done it before now, Gary? Because they had opportunities for an international break, because that Bruges result was a perfect time. I know people might have said it's a knee-jerk reaction, but it wasn't. And in the last few games, even if he wins on Sunday, Gary, say, right, and then we get beat in Europe and then he beats Falkirk, nothing's improved in my eyes. Because he can win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game. As soon as he loses, all this comes back tenfold. And then he wins a game, people are it'll just be fine until next week. This isn't going to disappear, and the people still will go back until he's removed. You said earlier, it's a case now at a club where the fans don't like him. He doesn't like us. I actually believe that. And he's just there doing a job until he's actually removed, because he's not going to obviously walk away. And I think the only thing that could save him, and it's never going to happen, is win every league game between now and the end of the season, and he wins something, which I don't think happens. I think if they were going to push, it probably after the semi-final, if you don't win that. I think after the semi-final against them, we lose badly. I think they might then, because that could be a point they think, well, they've lost to them in the semi-final. The fans will now be happy we've done it because it's a big game and it's who it's against. But I think they've passed that stage where they could have done it ages ago, Gary. I don't understand why. I know they've invested so much in him. We're looking at, and I've heard what Shona's saying, they're looking at potential candidates, but by all accounts, we had a big, long look in the summer and this big, long 7 interview process, which is bollocks. Because if that was the case, he would never have been chosen. I think he was probably one they wanted for day one. That's what I believe, because that's why he was picked. And Ricky's now appeared on my screen twice, so I've either been drinking too much or I wasn't hallucinating drugs. Don't take him at Rangers game, you'll see it double as bad. But no, I think it's just going to go on until he goes. But I think by the time he does go, Gary, there's nothing to salvage this season apart from pride, because I think it will be too late.
No, I'd agree. Sorry, I was just going to say, I suppose timing is everything. So do you give it to next 10 days from now and then make the break when there's a chance to get somebody in. Hopefully that's the case. Maybe I'm wishful thinking there.
No, I don't think that's their plan. No, I think they're willing to. I think they want to ride this out, Gary. I think that they think that we're all idiots and they know best, and they're going to try and prove it to the last minute. But for me, I don't think any. I think the only people that can survive this once the red cards are getting handed out is the Americans themselves, because they're the investors. But I think they've made a terrible decision. I think they've underestimated Scottish football 100%. I think we're back to Mark Warburton. This is Mark Warburton Mark II with this type of players that they've brought in. They had great options on their doorstep that ignored all the advice that were given from Rangers legends. Barry Ferguson sat down with Farewell and told them all the problems that he and his coaching staff saw, but they thought that they knew better, and that the money that they just basically thought they could throw money at the problem and the money was going to solve everything, and that the players that they were going to bring in were just going to be superior and good enough for Scottish football. I mean, I would have been asking, how much did Farewell actually know about Scottish football? How much does Purdy actually know about Scottish football? Because it's totally different from English football. Everything's different up here. The banter's different, the dressing room's different, the people are different, the type of football is different. It's okay, it's still Britain, but everything is so different. It's unbelievable. The league's very honest, and they're finding that out now, you know. And some players are taking a bit longer to settle than others. So you do have to give some players time, Gary. It's not just easy just to move up to Scotland and everything's easy. You see that with Rothwell. He's starting to, maybe there's signs that he's starting to shine a little bit, and we're going to see the best of him. And we need to see the best of him now, because the team needs leaders, and he should be one of the leaders in that dressing room. But Russell Martin needs to find the way that if we are starting to see that, he's got to get him in the team, you know. He's probably going to turn up to Livingston on Sunday, and you're going to see the exact same team. You're going to see Diamande, Asgard and Raskin in midfield. You're going to see Mikey Moore on the right wing. And fans will just get sick of that as well. We're sick of everything with Martin, but we'll just be sick of that as well, because you've got to try different things. You can't just be going, okay, well, that was rubbish in Europe, but it's going to be different against Livingston on Sunday. It doesn't work like that, Gary. So he's got to try and keep finding a way to get results with this team, because we're 11th in the league, mate. You know, I mean, Aberdeen are even worse than us, which is an absolute miracle. But if we drop points to Livingston on Sunday, and there's a big chance we will, then I'm not joking you, mate. For us to be 11th in the league, when does the alarm bell start ringing for the Americans? If we drop points to Livingston on Sunday and then we're bottom, we could potentially be bottom of the Europa League and bottom of the Scottish League this time next week, mate. And that's going into October. That is absolutely insane. I heard someone saying it today, and it was like a bad dream. I actually had to give myself a tap and make sure I wasn't sleeping, mate.
So,
but we look good in training, Ricky.
That's the main thing.
We look good in training, Jesus Christ.
So we've obviously, I just want to finish the last 5 minutes on the kind of Livingston game. So Livingston at 3 p.m. on a Sunday, bizarre time. If I didn't have to host this on Monday night, I wouldn't even be that bothered about watching it. I think at this moment in time, sadly, and for all 3 years, the desire to watch Rangers is pretty limited at the moment.
Ryder Cup's on at that time as well, man.
What's on?
The Ryder Cup's on at
that
that time.
So I watch Ryder Cup people. Watch Ryder Cup people and stick your phone at the radio on for the Rangers game. Radio, still get radios, transistor. All that
people like you, Gary. What's a radio?
It's in their phones nowadays, mate. Everything's just say phones.
So in terms of the team, I suppose I was looking at the options. So you've obviously got Aarons, Giga, Barron, Ant-Man, Curtis, Miovski, Bayrami. I'd probably think about playing. And Fernandez, big 6'5" Fernandez against Livingston. Do you think there's a chance he might come into the cold? So in terms of the team lineup, Ricky, do you expect many changes? Do you think any of those players may come in?
Me, I would bring in Jigga. I'd like to see Jigga beside Big Cornelius. I would change the midfield completely with Rothwell, Raskin, and Cameron's supposed to be back for Sunday for sure. That was what Martin said, but you can't really trust anything he says in press conferences. And I would like to see Curtis on the left, Miovski up front, and Ant-Man on the right. Give other people an opportunity, because we're creating nothing. So that's the team I would go with, mate. And I'll say, if he goes with that, Rangers will win 3-0. But I think the team will be it will be basically the same as what started on Thursday night, except for Miovski will come in for Shermity, and I think it'll be a draw 1-1.
Ricky, Scott, what about yourself? Do you know, in terms of players that may come in? And all this is kind of relevant because it's all down to the formation he plays. It doesn't matter what players they play. The formation is wrong. It never ever works anyway.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to change much apart from it might change one or two. I think it might bring in somebody for Moore, and I think it might. I think Livingston might start as well for Dio, or even I think Asgard will play for some reason. I think he likes him there, but I think Asgard has to play a different position. I mean, I think he's been putting him out of position, but listen, it's Russell Martin, isn't it? I just think Gary will have to go out and get a victory on Sunday. I know that's not going to change much going forward, but I think you need to go out and show something, show a bit of intent, and I don't know if they will. I think I might be past that stage, and it's just a case of delaying inevitable, as the banner said, and till a new manager comes in. Listen, I know people say if the players down cards for manager, they're no footballers, blah, 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 but sometimes in life and in work situations, if you don't like your boss, you do enough to get past, but you don't run through a brick wall for them. I feel that with some of these players. I feel they maybe know he's not got long left, especially the ones that maybe I fell out with him. And once he goes, then it's maybe a clean slate with whoever else comes in. But I actually think we'll get a draw at best on Sunday. I think just because of the way it's been happening, but and we've not had a lot of luck, but we're not playing well either. And I think it's a very, very difficult game because Livingston are no mugs and they're going to go out full of confidence. So I think we'll get a draw, but hopefully he can start Finlay Curtis because I think the boy deserves a chance. And I like to see Big Jigger come back in myself because I thought he was okay when he first came through the door, even though after that he turned very, put him down the slope very, very quickly. But so for a few of them, it started well down that slope. But at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters who he changes. I think if he plays the same way, then it's going to be just the same to watch. So I'd probably say we'll be one each on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably like to see Rothwell playing the number 8. Probably Asgard will play. Raskin will probably play number 6. I wouldn't mind seeing Bayram. I mean, I've watched him at times and I thought, you know, he's got ability. I mean, I'm not saying he's a world beater, but there's something there. He could offer something. He also could probably come in, as you say. Ant-Man, nobody really knows why Ant-Man's not playing. It's a bit of a strange one from there. And I don't think he will, but Big Fernandez might be suited to this game against Livingston. It's probably the one that you would actually, if you're going to play him in a game, this may be the start of the game that would actually suit a big 6'5" centre half, and although it won't happen, and it'll probably be much the same lineup with them all playing out of position and then struggling to get through the game, sadly. So just quick score prediction then, Ricky. Don't know if did you say
1-1, mate.
1-1. And Scott, you're going for a draw. Are we even going to get a chance to score a goal?
I'll say 1-1. I think we'll score. I think it'll be. I know Gino will score. But I think we'll concede as well because I don't see us keeping a clean sheet, and I think it'll be the same as before. Just long balls for Livingston, and they'll be getting a wee bit of joy for that. So hopefully I'm wrong, Gary, and he turns the corner. But I think that corner's about 17 blocks down the road before he's even close to it. But hopefully we get a result. But I think it'll be a draw.
I'm pretty disappointed that comment there, Lex. You know, Duncan Bantine's about 20 years older than me there, so I don't really know where. And I wish I had his money for all the gyms and all the other stuff he wins, but unfortunately not. So I'm going to go for a Rangers 1-0 win. That'll move us rapidly up the table to mid-table before we go to the game against Falkirk next week. So maybe scrape a 1-0 win, a horrible game, and Miovski to score a one off his backside effectively. You know, so I don't think we're going to create very much as we haven't. Livingston is always a horrible game, but at the end of the day, we have better players and we should be doing better than them. Even in a bad formation with bad tactics and a bad manager, the better players should be able to still do enough to scrape a win against Livingston. So that's my take on it. I think that's probably it. I don't think there's anything we've missed, and we have went on for we actually talk an hour and 8 minutes. Not even talk that much about Russell Martin sacking him, considering some of the amount of abuse we could have gave for that last hour.
It doesn't matter. We all want him sacked, but our opinion's not going to make it go any quicker or slower. It'll happen when it happens with the board. We're not going to. You said earlier, Nicky said earlier, they're just kind of going over what everybody else is thinking, everybody else is saying. So hopefully wake up in the morning enough and he's away, but I don't see that.
Yeah, Gary, there'll be 5-6 pods this weekend going on about Russell Martin's this, and he's a cabbage, and he's veg lasso, terry vegetables, all the usual pattern. And it's better just to try and we know that we all want him out, but it's not gonna happen anytime soon. So you need to speak about reality.
Yeah, and that's it. Hopefully people have enjoyed the pod. I mean, there's no point just bashing somebody for an hour. It's no game then. It's no entertainment. It's no enjoyable for any of us. So at least we can try and pick up some other things and maybe delve a bit deeper. It's maybe a bit more enjoyable. We will be back on Monday night with a win, a draw, or a defeat. Sadly, so hopefully it's the first one, and we can maybe talk about goals, chances, good decisions, tactical genius. None of those things I expect. None of those things will probably happen, but who knows? We can always live in hope. Have a good weekend, everybody, and we will see you on Monday. Enjoy yourselves. Bye now.